Shannon, do you agree that Brady is the GOAT, but Mahomes will break all the records?
Yeah, but yes, Brady is the GOAT when it comes to quarterback, Skip. That's not, I don't really know if that's even up for discussion. Jerry Rice is the GOAT receiver. But there are seasons that Sterling Sharpe was better than Jerry Rice. There are seasons that Chris Carter was better than Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice is the GOAT receiver. I think where the discussion and people are trying to confuse the two is that they're saying, as an overall player from right now, Patrick Mahomes is better than what Tom Brady has accomplished. At this very moment, Patrick Mahomes is a better quarterback than Tom Brady.
Wrong, but go ahead.
He is. Skip, as simple as that.
No, he's not.
Was he a better quarterback last year?
No.
Who won the MVP?
Okay, is it my turn?
No, it's not your turn just yet. Not your turn just yet. When you look at it, he has a head start as far as yardage, as far as, touchdowns. Obviously, we understand that titles come along with being in the GOAT conversation. It's hard. You can't even, for me, you can't be in the GOAT this conversation, greatest of all time, without a title. We know that.
Sure, okay.
Karl Malone in basketball. We have Dan Marino in football, Skip. I believe you need multiple MVP regular seasons to be in the GOAT conversation. That's just me. I mean, some people might say one is enough. But for me, I believe you need multiples. Now, he has a head start. But also, Skip, what goes into the GOAT conversation. You can't just win, 6 Super Bowls and then you have 4 or 5 guys that win the MVP in that season and you don't win regular season MVPs and say, okay, I'm the GOAT because I got a bunch of these titles. It doesn't work like that. No, nobody said, look, and this is not a knock on anybody. Terry Bradshaw has 4. He works at this network. Skip, they don't bring him up in the GOAT conversation. Troy has 3. They don't bring him up in the GOAT conversation because you also have to have individual. You have to have MVPs in record-breaking seasons. He has the record-breaking seasons. I believe he's on pace to do what he did last year. That's what they call him, Mr. 55K. 50 tubs, 5,000 yards, Jenny. Just
what
like
a name.
Roll it out. Yeah, Skip Bayless. You hate that.
What a nickname.
I'm not sure that's going to catch.
Yeah, it's going to catch. But Skip, this notion that, nobody thought anybody could do what Joe did. Let it play out. He has a great start to his career. And obviously, if he wants to be in the discussion down the road, Skip, he just had a birthday, 24. There's a chance he can be a 2-time league MVP and possibly a Super Bowl winner and be 24, be under the age of 25. So let's let it play out. But he has a head start to headed down that path.
Okay. So before I get into all my rebuttals to every point you just made, allow me to add some backstory to Quandre Diggs and Patrick Mahomes because they did play each other when Quandre was playing Texas versus Texas Tech. If we do have that play where Quandre introduced himself to Patrick Mahomes, who was in for Davis Webb, who had been hurt, here's the play in question, a little read option, keep, boom. And that was the end of Patrick for that game. And he wobbled off the field after that, not to be seen again in that game, but obviously he did bounce back in his college career. Hang on, Patrick. Hang on.
Oh, that's a tough
Hang on. Yeah, that's a tough hit. But the irony of this is that these two became friendly, and I think I could go as far as to say that Quandre and Patrick have become friends. They do text each other, so there's no bad blood going on there. So given the fact that they are friendly to the point of friends, now we need to reiterate what the quote was from Quandre, and he is the starting strong safety for the Baltimore Ravens, about to play Patrick. I'm sorry, about to
played him last week.
Played him last week.
Sure.
Okay. He says, Quandre, to me, Tom Brady is going to be the best ever for my whole life. That's just how it is. That's it. That says it all to me. That's just how it is. But the way Pat's going, he's going to break every record in NFL history if he keeps this up.
Yeah.
I agree with both statements. He's on his way to shattering every record. I think there's nothing safe from Patrick Mahomes, in large part because of the offense he plays in and the mastermind, the offensive mastermind behind it.
Skip, see, by saying that, you shortchanged this man.
Okay.
Let me tell you who else played in that offense, Skip Bayless. I'm going to give you some names, and you tell me if they put up those numbers. Joe Montana, Steve Young, Brett Favre, John Elway, Donovan McNabb.
Okay, that was the roots of this offense, but he has tweaked it. He's made it his own.
Because in the true West Coast, Skip, the offense was about getting the ball in guys' hands and letting them run with it. Where Andy has tweaked it is he pushes the ball down the field because
like
the guys
crazy.
have so much speed. Yes.
Okay. So Andy Reid, to me, has become the Mike D'Antoni of the National Football League because, again, Patrick Mahomes is on his way to becoming the Steve Nash / James Harden of the Mike D'Antoni NFL offense. He's going to be the center of an incredible universe that won Steve Nash 2 MVPs, and a lot of people said he is revolutionizing the way the game is played, and then up to James Harden. And last year people were saying he's revolutionized the way offensive basketball is played, right?
Yes.
And he is the center of Mike D'Antoni's universe that is offensive heavy, just the way Andy's culture has always been scoring based. We outscore the opposition. There's never been much of a defensive mindset for Andy Reid, which is one reason, just one reason, that he is 1-5 in championship games.
But Skip, but here's the thing. In championship games with the Eagles, for the most part, they didn't play well. Jim Johnson had some defenses.
They had decent defenses.
But Skip, you remember those championship in Tampa, when Tampa came and beat them, Rondé got that pick 6 that set the tempo. They did not play well, and that's normally what happened with Andy, and that's what normally got him in trouble. This was really the first time.
Well, actually, the one that he won and got to the Super Bowl against Belichick and Brady, that was a Jim Johnson special because Terrell Owens got hurt going into that playoff run and didn't play a single playoff game until the Super Bowl, right? So the point is that I go back to the Athletic quote that we had from a former head coach, and he said, you play for Andy Reid, you're going to have numbers, to the point that, what's his name, Donovan McNabb, thinks he's a Hall of Famer. What Mahomes did was still amazing, talking about last year. I just don't know if you can continue to play the way he plays and not have the big mistakes. He reminds me of Favre, and I think he's going to end up having Favre moments. Okay, well, that's what I've told you since this season started, before the season started.
But they don't say that about when Castle played for Brady. He put up big numbers and parlayed that into a big contract with Kansas City.
He wasn't doing it playing like globetrotter quarterback, where he's just trying every pass imaginable.
He played within the system. So what quarterback you think can play like Pat Mahomes in that system? And it would have to call plays differently.
He now has a better Donovan McNabb.
Yes.
Maybe a way better Donovan. And I love Donovan. I'm a big fan of Donovan.
But Skip, every quarterback has a system catered to what they do really well. If Andy had a quarterback that did not have a big arm like that, he can't call plays like that. They call plays according to the quarterback. So that's why he had to tweak the West Coast. He has a guy that can throw the ball 65 yards. In the West Coast system, only a handful of guys can throw it that far. Steve couldn't throw the ball 65 yards. Joe wasn't throwing the ball 65 yards.
Agreed.
Now, Elway and Favre had the kind of arms that could launch the ball like that. But this kid is special. And to say Andy is just is shortchanging him.
This kid is so special that he's now fallen in love with the no-look pass, and Andy Reid is all for it. Andy Reid is saying, go for it, young man.
He said that.
Yes, he is, because I saw 2 pieces. One was done by NBC, in which NBC had Brett Favre. I think we have a clip of this. He had Brett Favre and Patrick Mahomes competing against each other, throwing no-look passes. You seen this? Did you miss this? They're throwing it, trying to drop it in the basket, right? So here's Favre and Patrick Mahomes. So this is before his second year as a starter, and I'm sure Andy Reid has signed off on the fact you're doing this against Brett Favre, so you're encouraging him to throw no-looks because it's spectacular. It polishes the legendary ego of one Andy Reid, because look what my quarterback can do, right? And by the way, to finish this, ESPN did a whole huge big piece about the evolution of the no-look leading to Patrick Mahomes, and they had Jason Williams, you remember White Chocolate, talking about the evolution of the no-look in the NBA. So it's like he's recreating the way you play quarterback, and he is a revolutionary new toy for Andy Reid. So go ahead, but that's what Andy's he's obsessed with it now. He's enamored of it.
But Skip, but here's the thing. We all know you have to have individual success and you have to have great achievement. Because if that's the case, Robert Ory would be in discussion for the GOAT because he has 7 titles. But when you factor in, he doesn't have any MVPs, no All-Stars, no All-NBA, anything like that. So you have to factor in, it's the totality of a person's career, of his work. Brady's going to go down as the GOAT for the quarterback. So if you want to say he's the GOAT player, okay, fine, I get all that. But Skip, Michael Jordan, from the time that he entered the league until the time that he left, was not the best player, even though many consider him the GOAT now.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.